What's up, everyone? Justin here with Tech Journey. So this book here, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Pretty good read so far, I must admit. Believe it or not, I'm actually not really into motivational material. In terms of motivational speaking, sales books, just really the idea of that, it doesn't really intrigue me. I have come across something good here and there. But this book here, this book is a part of the course that I'm in with Course Careers. I guess you can call it a type of boot camp for sales tech training. And so far, so good. My wife and I have only been enrolled in it for 2 days. You can work at your own pace. And according to the time of the evening that I'm making this video, I don't know if it's so good that I'm becoming a bit obsessed, but who knows? Maybe my personality is just simply all in or nothing. But I do want to read something to you from this book that really moved me. And gosh, I would love to know your opinion and your thoughts on it. If you don't mind sharing that in the comments. And also, if you plan on following this journey, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So I've been in sales for 1 year and 9 months in new car sales specifically. My wife took a break from the workforce. She's been raising our 3 beautiful kids. And now my wife is looking to potentially get back into the workforce. And we're just thinking ahead. I'm doing very well in car sales. I make the most money that I have ever made on any job that I've had in the past. But we are just looking forward. There are factors that led us to believing that tech is something that is somewhat promising in terms of the future and the possibilities and the opportunities that is in that space. So we decided to go ahead and really just position ourselves to be able to actually work in that field. So we went ahead and started the education. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to read this excerpt to you from the book, and I'd like for you to tell me your thoughts on this. So excerpt in the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And this excerpt is from a writing by W. Livingston Larn, and the name of it is Father Forgets. Okay? Listen, son, I am saying this as you lie asleep. One little paw crumpled under your cheek, and the blonde curls stickily wet on your damp forehead. I have stolen into your room alone. Just a few minutes ago, as I sat reading my paper in the library, a stifling wave of remorse swept over me. Guiltily, I came to your bedside. These are the things I was thinking, son. I had been cross to you. I scolded you as you were dressing for school because you gave your face merely a dab with the towel. I took you to task for not cleaning your shoes. I called out angrily when you threw some of your things on the floor. At breakfast, I found fault too. You spilled things. You gulped down your food. You put your elbows on the table. You spread butter too thick on your bread. And as you started off to play and I made for my train, you turned and waved the hand and called, "Goodbye, Daddy." And I frowned and said in reply, "Hold your shoulders back." Then it began all over again in the late afternoon. As I came up the road, I spied you, down on your knees playing marbles. There were holes in your socks. I humiliated you before your friends by marching you ahead of me to the house. Socks are expensive, and if you had to buy them, you would be more careful. Imagine that, son, from a father. Do you remember later when I was reading in the library how you came in timidly with the sort of hurt look in your eyes. When I glanced up over my paper, impatiently at the interruption, you hesitated at the door. What is it you want? I snapped. You said nothing, but ran across in one tempestuous plunge and threw your arms around my neck and kissed me. And your small arms tightened with an affection that God had set blooming in your heart and which even neglect could not wither. And then you were gone, pattering up the stairs. Well, son, it was shortly afterwards that my paper slipped from my hands and a terrible, sickening fear came over me. What has habit been doing to me? The habit of finding fault, of reprimanding. This was my reward to you for being a boy. It was not that I did not love you. It was that I expected too much of youth. I was measuring you by the yardstick of my own years. And there was so much that was good and fine and true in your character. The little heart of you was as big as the dawn itself over the wide hills. This was shown by your spontaneous impulse to rush in and kiss me goodnight. Nothing else matters tonight, son. I have come to your bedside in the darkness, and I have knelt here, ashamed. It is a feeble atonement. I know you would not understand these things if I told them to you during your waking hours. But tomorrow, I will be a real daddy. I will chum with you and suffer when you suffer and laugh when you laugh. I will bite my tongue when impatient words come. I will keep saying as if it were a ritual, he is nothing but a boy, a little boy. I am afraid I have visualized you as a man. Yet as I see you now, son, crumpled and weary in your cot, I see that you are still a baby. Yesterday you were in your mother's arms and your head on her shoulder. I have asked too much. Too much. Wow. And then the author goes on to write, instead of condemning people, let's try to understand them. Let's try to figure out why they do what they do. That's a lot more profitable and intriguing than criticism, and it breeds sympathy, tolerance, and kindness. To know all is to forgive all. As Dr. Johnson said, God himself, sir, does not propose to judge man until the end of his days. Why should you and I? Wow. Tell me what you think of that. Go ahead. If you plan on keeping up with the journey, you're interested in tech, you want to know what it looks like in a real world scenario, just from somebody who's regular, that's going through the process, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And we'll see you on the next video, friends.